Get ready, get set. It's a first look with the Oh Brother podcast.
Welcome back to another First Look with the Oh Brother podcast. Mike, we're back. We're going to do a first look on the Devil Wears Prada sequel.
Wow, this is a long time coming.
The Devil Wears Prada 2. Now, I just watched the original not that long ago. And as you say, that came out in 2006. So we are 20 years down the road.
Wow.
From this sequel. And I will tell you right off the bat, Meryl Streep and Hathaway and Stanley Tucci, they all look the same as they did in the first one. So whatever they've doing,
added somebody. There's a big name they added, right?
Well, let's take a look at the trailer and find out who that person is.
Runway. It's not just a magazine. It's a global icon. A winding road that brings us back. Together again.
Madonna.
Hello?
Well, look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
I'm sorry. Who is this? Do you know her? Do I know her?
I'm Andy Sachs. Andrea.
She was one of the Emilys.
One of the what?
What?
Am I having a hallucination? Hi, Emily.
You also know her?
We were at Runway at the same time, Miranda.
Really? Where was I?
Where would you like to start?
I am the new features editor at Runway.
No, you are not.
Yeah, we are all so thrilled.
You know what's funny is you've changed. You have. You're much more confident. Kept those eyebrows, though, didn't you?
Wow. Was Emily Blunt in the first one?
She was, yeah.
Ah, wow. See, this shows you how old it is.
Well,
because I don't remember her.
when's the last time you've seen it?
It's been probably since it came out.
Yeah, 20 years, yeah.
And you're right. They look great.
They all look the same. Emily Blunt, they all look incredible. But yeah, Meryl Streep back as Miranda Priestly, and Anne Hathaway as Andy Sachs. Emily is Emily, as you heard there. Justin Theroux is in it, Stanley Tucci. Now, I'm not sure who you were thinking about. Now, Kenneth Branagh is in it, Lucy Liu. Like, there's some other big names that are in it. Lady Gaga is credited in this film. So some big names, BJ Novak and others. But it looks good. I mean, I'm excited to see it because I forgot what an enjoyable film the original was. It really was a nice film.
Originally she made Anne Hathaway's, life hell.
Right.
And I thought, and again, I really didn't see the trailer till just now, but I thought Emily Blunt was coming in and Anne Hathaway was going to kind of pivot into the role that Meryl Streep played and give her hell. But now that you say they were both in it, I have to rewatch the first one.
What is with the whole her not remembering? I'm not sure.
Well, I think because she was like that, as a boss, she was so dismissive of her employees.
I mean, that makes sense. But the way that the original one ended, right? There's this, they exchanged this kind of, and frankly, they got to know each other through some very vulnerable sequences between Meryl's character, Miranda, and Anne Hathaway, right?
But now it's almost like they're being reintroduced for the first time.
It is, which is kind of interesting. And to your point, I thought we might see yet another sort of Emily stepping in.
Right.
In some way. And maybe that still will happen. Maybe that's Lady Gaga for all we know. I mean, who knows? But
is this a Disney film? Or was it?
I'm not
like
sure.
Touchstone, maybe? I don't know. I thought it was a Disney film. I'm just wondering why it took them 20 years.
filmed in New York and Milan again. 20th Century Studios.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
coming
don't think I own this.
coming May 1st, 2026. This is why that, well, no, I think it's in my collection, I believe, is how I watched it. But that thing's getting so expansive now, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing when you lean into the digital primarily. And then with all this streaming, you sort of lose sight of what you own and what you don't.
Well,
and it's weird.
I mean, I have to check
Mhm.
every time I buy a movie if it's not something like a new release. I have to check. Otherwise, I wind up buying things twice.
Well, with your massive collection, there's no doubt. In fact, I just saw the thing on the news about, this return to physical media. Like
Really?
like the younger generation is turning to physical media. They're seeking out and desiring that kind of physical experience, whether it be books, right? And some of it I think is to kind of to wean off some of the screen time, like you and I were just talking about off air. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody that we played pickleball with gave me a DVD today because they don't have a DVD player, but I do have the ability to play DVDs, and it's the film Eddie and the Cruisers, which I've loved since that came out in the 80s.
Right.
And I hadn't seen it in years, and we were talking about it, and so she brought it today to give to me. And she said, well, if you've got something that plays DVDs, I said,
They did
I
a
happen
sequel to
have
that,
it.
too.
They did. It was terrible, but but the original one was great. Michael Pare and you had Tom Berenger was in it, and it was a good film. It was a good film.
Did Jackson Browne do the music for that, or
No, Brown is probably stuck in your head because it was John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band is
That's
who it
why.
was.
That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah. But Michael Pare did a great job of the lip syncing in the film because I think a lot of people you saw the film before you knew who John Cafferty was. And let's just say John Cafferty doesn't look like Michael Pare.
No.
John Cafferty, but John Cafferty, the Beaver Brown Band, great local Jersey band.
Right.
Similar to Springsteen, but never quite hit those heights. But their song On the Dark Side was a huge hit for weeks on the radio.
And it did always sound Springsteen kind of ish.
Yeah, he had a black saxophone player. It was very, blue collar, the whole thing. So, but that album, the Eddie and the Cruiser soundtrack, is great. Now, that is not the film we were doing a first look on. It was Devil Wears Prada 2.
Right.
But, it makes me think of a relevant point, which is this kind of yearning for nostalgia. We've talked about that on the podcast many times, and some of these films that do well or have an appeal, whether it be in streaming or at the box office, because of nostalgia, or at least that's what's been pushed out a lot in the theaters, right? Is like reboots or sequels to franchises that were originated back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I read an article today about Blockbuster Video. They could have bought Netflix for $50,000 and they passed it up, and look what happened. I bring that up because I yearn for those days of going to the video rental store.
Well, now you remember there was one right down the street from our house, right down there where we call Four Corners. Right,
Yep.
or four corners.
And it was like a mom and pop kind of operation.
And this was beta tapes, folks, for those that go look it up.
They had both,
kids.
but yeah, they had a lot
Did they
of
have
beta.
VHS already
They
at
did.
that point?
They had both, yeah.
But those must have been like the shiny new, oh, they've got VHS, right? Because it was heavily beta, as I recall. But
yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Again, the experience, like I like doing that, going to look at, I showed you I was playing the Thriller album on my record player here.
Right.
There's just
The
something
literal
about that.
album, not playing a CD.
Yes, it was the vinyl.
The
and
vinyl.
there's just something about that you can't really replicate. But now,
So that's what they're trying to do here with this movie, is bring back that,
well,
2006 vibe.
Yeah, it's a film that people have a lot of affinity for, and so it's 20 years ago, right? So it's almost an antique. But I was bringing the video store up because I gotta believe you could easily you probably have 10% or more physical media in your collection than that place had back when it was at its height in the 80s.
Probably.
I mean, what are you up to now?
I've lost track, and
It's
it all
thousands.
depends on how you like. If you look at something like
Not
Lost,
something.
or
Yeah,
The
no.
Sopranos,
That's one thing. That's one item.
correct.
Right.
So if you count them as one, it's like, I don't know, 3,500, somewhere in that range.
Wow. That's a blockbuster.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mike's got his own blockbuster.
it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I hate to admit to it,
Say it loud, say it proud, folks.
but
All right, well-
I could say the same thing about video games.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Devil Wears Prada 2, Mike, the sequel. You going to see this in the theater?
I don't know if I'll see it in the theater. It depends if the mood is right or it strikes me.
I think it has a shot of doing some decent money. Because
Yeah,
the-
that'll be another thing. I want to see how it does if it gets ravished.
like what the opening weekend is. Yeah, because it's and it's going to depend on what it ends up coming out against, right? In May.
Yeah, good point.
So May 1st, 2026, David Frankel again, same guy behind this one that did the first one, so that's encouraging, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got the same cast here coming back, so it's exciting. All right, there you go. First look on Devil Wears Prada 2 coming May 1st, 2026. Going to do it for another First Look with the Oh Brother podcast. I'm your host, Stan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.